a special forces infantryman, But this particular deployment, the Army happened to try something different where, they actually, they pulled from the various ranks of our infantry soldiers in our Fort Stewart, and they actually paired us with, various special forces groups to deploy in Afghanistan, which was high level, especially being a combat warrior. That's the highest honor you can do, is to serve with those higher than you, because the SF, the special forces, they're very high up, So, now them, they don't live in the forward operational base, which is a FOB. They live in the hood. They live in the community, in the thick of it, in the midst of the chaos. So they're actually with the elders, the imams, the elders, and say, so you don't have the protection of to be in a forward operation base, overseas. You're actually in it. You're actually outnumbered, and you got to survive. So to say we were in war and that we were not in the chaos every day is an understatement. But the blessing of being with them and being in the community was that the mission, which is rarely talked about in mainstream media, is is a lot of the positive sides that can come up out of infantryman service. So my personal experience, like I can't speak for what happened in Iraq and those type of brothers and sisters that were in Afghanistan before and after me, but I can say once again, I was able to resonate and attract an amazing experience because, here I am, attached throughout my year being there, attached with two different special forces groups, and we're living with these elders. We're living amongst these Afghan imams, the elders, and the elders are responsible for these 1,000 acres of land of this luscious, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, so everything is organic, nothing's Monsanto. So, excuse me. So I'm living with them, so we get to really live off the land, and doing that, having that experience was auspicious because one of the special forces groups, I met a master sergeant that one day who was responsible for us, a special forces master sergeant, amazing spirit, I was on guard duty one day, drinking my greens. And, Mecca greens in a gallon. Same kind over there doing the same, And he says to me, Tulane, what are you drinking? So I started, going into my Super Mega Green campaign, the benefits, what I do, I said, yeah, I'm pulling, I think I had to do 10-hour guard duty. And I said, well, Master Sergeant, this keeps me alert and awake, He's drinking these greens and, allow me to be alert and I have fatigue. And so he said, he shared with me a story about, how him and his wife do juicing. And they do juicing, and their juicing, they have a son that was dealing with autism. And then juicing help manage the son's autism. And so that's the ritual they do as a family. They juice together, and they also physically fit. They do marathons with their son and stuff just to keep him healthy. So they do physical fitness with the son, and they also do wellness modalities by juicing. So me and him bonded based on that. He said, "Man, Terrain, you're gonna be my personal wellness coach out here." So he just was really excited about our bonding, And he had the greens. I gave him some of the greens. He loved it. This is awesome. I'm alert. I'm energy. And then a week later, he surprised me. I say, now we in the hood, like we living with the Afghans. We're not away from them. We living with them, So where we had this like little makeshift kitchen that we've had, like the locals helped to provide for us. And he said, come in the kitchen. So I came in the kitchen, and he had his wife ship a juicer. He had a juicer. And I said, whoa. And so on the days we didn't have missions, and going out in the days, of course, because we were pretty much getting rocketed missiles at us every day. But the days we kind of just had a down day, we would have the locals give us fruits and vegetables that were grown from the land. And I would juice for my battle buddies and the local Afghans, And it was the first time ever ever as a combat, not if someone is on a forward operation base, different MOS. No, infantry, 11 Bravo combat, MOS warrior juice in Afghanistan. I'm pretty sure that never happened in the history of the armed forces. And so that speaks to, beloved, showing up as your authentic self as a wellness warrior, no matter where you're at. And look at this by me maintaining my post with my wellness in the midst of war. I was able to attract a master sergeant that saw light in me enough to even add on to the light and and bring a juicer over. And then the locals are now bringing us fruits and vegetables. So, and I got all this documented. All of this is documented on YouTube. While it was happening, I put a few videos up. I have a video called Supa Nova Slom or Mr. Medicine Man juicing in Afghanistan. You can look that up. Yeah, and it show you see me right there in Afghanistan juicing with my uniform on and talking about what I'm doing. And I'm currently working. I have all that footage, everything I'm talking to you about, beloved. I have all of this footage documented. I haven't put it out yet in a totality, but I'm working on a documentary prayerfully within the next year or two. It'll be ready to go. It's called Supa Nova, the Wellness Warrior, and it talks about what I'm talking to you about now. How I was able to show up as a wellness warrior, what my journey has been, being born and raised vegan, being a vegan bodybuilder, and how I was able to maintain my plant-based living even while in service in war, and then now post deployment. So that was that awesome example. I did my service. I was able to come back, strong and whole, and maintain, my wellness even out there, with foreigners and also with my battle buddies. And everybody that I served with, at least 90% of them came back and started ordering juices and said, "Hey, Terrain, I ordered a juicer. Me and my wife are juicer now." And some of the guys from the Special Forces group are, keep in contact with me, sending me pictures of them juicing and how they're maintaining it. And so I was able to continue that. It just felt so good to actually bring my contribution to the armed forces. And now 7 years later, now since I was acting duty, you start seeing more and more servicemen and women posting online that they're plant-based, they're going plant-based, and this is how they do the service. So it feels good that whether they know about me or not, that I was part of that first, wave of wellness warriors, leading that example. And one of the great things post service is when I came out of active duty, I had the opportunity to work with this not-for-profit organization called the Future Project. And I was actually deployed to work in the Newark school system. I worked with several high schools throughout Weequahic High School, Malcolm X Shabazz High School, Central High School. And I was like a wellness. I was like a counselor for young people, creating projects called future projects in their school, like how they can do projects in the school to transform the school space to be a better creative space. So one of the things that I did was I had a crew. Each of us, we were dream directors, right? So the dream directors had to create their own crew of young people that would be change makers in the school. So because of who I am as a wellness warrior, of course, my crew was called the Juice Crew, right? So, and these young people was about 15 young people from all grades, 9 to 12. We'll take over the lunchroom periods, and the principal was provide fruits and vegetables and juices, right? And we would juice for the students during during their lunch periods, the Juice Crew. And then I would add my mega greens to some of the concoctions, and then they would taste it. And the kids, all the basketball, football players will come. You got some of the greens, you got some of the mega greens. And so, it was so good to go from service the country, bringing wellness, being an example, post-service, continuing service in the civilian sector as a wellness warrior with young people, showing them, wellness and getting them encouraged. And now, even post that experience, I'm still, pushing forward as a wellness warrior, as a vegan bodybuilder, and just, waving the flag of being a wellness warrior for our people and encouraging other wellness warriors to step up and be positive examples of health, wellness, fitness, so we can be stewards of our next generation. I see a generation of us that will overcome diabetes and colon cancer and prostate cancer and fibroid tumors. I really want to be part of that vanguard that is pushing forward for Black women to be physically fit. Women are the most strongest aspect that we have, and being a mother is strong. So we can encourage our women, to do strength training, to do endurance training, and to fuel themselves with wellness. We can encourage our brothers, instead of taking all of that testosterone and killing each other, hurting each other, let's channel that energy and challenge ourselves through strength training, through endurance training, and let's use plant-based foods to fuel us. And even those who are probably still in transition, who are not fully vegan or plant-based, we still want to be an inspiration for them. We don't have to be dogmatic and say our way or the highway, but we can still put out the information for them to do their own research and let them know that we support